Hi, good morning. Welcome to anybody that's here a little bit early. We're testing things out today. We're live already, just FYI.
Look at that. Why'd we go live early?
Well, you obviously aren't reading your Slack messages, so
Yeah,
I'm
I
test.
had, I had to I had to, I had to record some stuff. I got to get the Jeep out to get some work done. When I say work done, it's like super simple stuff. I got to go get oil change this morning, and right after we wrap up, so I had to shoot the Whiteboard Wednesday video before going live. So, all right, well, we're live.
You're
Are
super
we live
busy.
everywhere?
Well, so now what we're doing is before we hit all the buttons and do all the things, I'm just trying to check the live streaming to make sure it's going to both places. If it's not, I'm going to shut this down and I'm going to start over.
All right, works for me.
So
How's my
I'm
audio today?
going to LinkedIn right now
Okay.
and I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Going to events. It still says organizing. Your event is live. All right. It's finally working. We
That's
are
right.
finally on LinkedIn.
Nice work.
Now,
Perfect.
the crazy thing is, I just went back to the old school way of doing it. So the whole use RTMP instead of the automatic process that we used to use. I just went
Yep.
back to what we used to use and it still works. So until it breaks, I will no longer be concerned about LinkedIn. Hi,
All
LinkedIn
right.
folks.
There we go.
And now
Hey,
look,
we are
it's
live.
and now we're live. And I'll edit that
There
first part out.
we
It's just our testing.
There's no reason to. Why do we need editing for?
I don't know. That's why we go
The
live. We
people, the
don't
people
really.
who care to go that far back and rewatch this stuff, know us enough that we do this unedited, and the people who would want us to edit probably shouldn't be following us anyway.
Yeah. If you're looking for a little more polish, give us more time. We'll get it all polished up. But right now, we are in experimentation mode. We are working out loud. We are showing people how to learn about AI and have a little bit of fun with the day's news in learning and development.
Awesome.
And how can people get connected with us, Mike?
If you go to livewithbrentmike.com, you can sign up there and we will get you an invitation to our Slack channel where we continue the conversation beyond the live daily show that we do Monday through Thursday at 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern.
Excellent. I'm posting the We're Live post on LinkedIn. So,
All right. Well, that's good. This is exciting. We've solved for a challenge. On to the next.
we have on to the next challenges. So yeah, so now it's time to get back to. I was also right in the middle of setting up my slide for today. I don't even know if I've got it set up. The header now it's weird. So I told Gemini start over because it
Okay.
screwed up the image. I asked it to do something and whatever. And then I said, okay, start over and start, basic start from scratch. I pasted the prompt for the image back in again, and it was lame. I'm like, wait a minute, no. So I did another prompt. I'm like, go back and use previous thumbnails as a template. I said as inspiration, and
Okay.
try again.
Yep.
And it was still not as good as past ones, but anyways, it's here.
Yeah.
I just have to pull it up.
It's one of the things we run into with the GPT that we use, and again, it's not Gemini, it ends up being it's in Chat GPT. But one of the challenges we run into on with the newsletter is as the model keeps getting better, it wants to add more detail into the icon images that we use as the main thumbnails for each of the editions, and we do the editions every Sunday. Um, the nostalgic part of it, or the story that we're trying to tell, is we want flat icon style images, kind of like the ones that you'd get if you go to a national park and you get a national park sticker. There's not a lot of detail in those stickers. There's enough detail, but it's typically
Yeah.
4 or 5 colors. They're the message is delivered really quickly. You see the icon like it arches, it's an arch, right? Or you see big old buffalo or bison at Yellowstone, right? Like it's very, you pick it up and you know exactly what you're looking at. As the models continue to improve, it's like the stupid human on the other side must want this thing to have more detail because I can do more detail. And the more detail, all that does is add complexity. It adds new layers to it. And what we're saying is, no, simplify it, simplify it further, simplify it further. And we went through like 3 or 4 iterations of simplifying a pretty complex thumbnail this weekend
Yeah.
before we finally were like, okay, well, that's kind of good enough to push out there. Now, neither Jen nor I are artists. I used to draw comic book characters when I was a kid, but like a lot of that was tracing and then working with cylinders and shapes and kind of building upon that. I've not done it for years. That's not my thing. The ability to create these images really, really fast is absolutely amazing. But the problem is the machine wants to do better, and sometimes you just want to say, no, don't worry your pretty little head right now. We just need this. Like this is part of the
Yeah.
this is part of the story we're attempting to tell. So there was a time, I forget if we talked about doing this or we actually did it, but there was a time where we went back and said, hey, we're just going to restart the GPT, like take it back to the beginning and say, okay, here, let's erase your memory. Let's completely wipe the slate clean. And that's one of the cool things with this technology is you can wipe the slate clean if you know
Yeah.
how to wipe the slate clean. And there was some pretty crazy stuff. Did you see all that stuff around Mythos yesterday?
No. What happened?
So it's the again, limited understanding. I have a freaking plunger in my office, so take that for context. Mythos is the next frontier model that Anthropic is planned to release. And when they talk about these models, you've seen things like you know, Opus as a model, right? And Sonnet as a model, I think, is one of the other ones. But anyway, again, we're learning this as we go together. There's somebody out there, some jerk out there is like, Mike said Opus, and it's actually Opie. Like, okay, bro, like you be excited about that. Let's try to get more people using the tools, because when they use the tools, they actually have experience. And when you have experience, you can gain perspective. And when you gain perspective, you can make better decisions. But anyhow, Mythos is the model that had been rumored for a while or kind of been out there. Well, they ran some tests yesterday, and Mythos highlighted security vulnerabilities across some tools that have been out in the market for as many as 27 years. I think was the
Wow.
biggest one that's out there, and did it very quickly. And the other piece, depending on what you read around this, they actually, when they were attempting to shut it down, it said, "Oh no, not today, sir," and said, and worked its way around it. Again, if you want to go deep into and want to kind of see what's happening on the pushing edges of this technology, take a look at what some of the Anthropic announcements. And one of the neat things that Anthropic did do, at least if everything that is being published is real, again, I'm not going to go tinfoil hat and all of that other kind of stuff. But if
No.
everything is that published is real, they shared it with the some of the larger technology companies in advance so that they could go in and start solving for some of their vulnerabilities before the public version of this front is made available. Things are happening so fast. Like these new models are building on each other much faster
Yeah.
than I think anybody. Certainly 3 months ago, I would have ever said, "Hey, this is how quickly it's going to happen." Like it's
Right.
moving at a rate, and I've been around the emerging and enablement technology space for a while. It is moving at a pace that I have never seen technology move at. Um, and I geek out about this stuff. And I'm sure there are people who are really geeked out about this stuff who are like, and that dude with the plumber or with the plunger has no idea what the heck he's talking about. Like it's moving even faster than that.
Stuff
So
is so much
anyway,
cooler
take a look
than
at
you know.
Mythos.
Typically this stuff is going way faster than we know. Like when stuff hits the news, typically, yeah, it's already been done for a while. At least that's what I've discovered. I know maybe with the internet, it's a little bit closer to real time, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it depends on what you. I mean, I guess it depends on what you want to pay attention to and what you do with it. Now, at the same time, ask yourself this question: Yeah, might know it. Can I do anything about it?
Yeah.
If no, well, let's not get your head wrapped around the axle around all of this stuff. It might be fun. It might be interesting to kind of let your brain go and look at it. Find the things you can do something about. Find the ways that you can start applying these tools. Just kind of go back to the sticks and stones versions of using these tools to help get an understanding of it and start figuring it out on that side and build your base foundation. I came up with a pretty cool, I'll share it a little bit later, but I think I came up with a pretty cool metaphor or analogy around that.
And then we can also talk about what's the difference between a metaphor and an analogy. But before we
I
do
said
that,
sometimes I think I'm talking of metaphors and it's analogies and whatever.
and I only say that because I don't know either.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have your script up and ready?
Yeah, that's a good question. So did we test the push the script button today live or no?
I did everything this morning, and I actually
Yeah.
kind of regretted it, but we can talk about that later.
Okay, I got it.
You're good to go. It's good to see you, Wendy.
Hey, Wendy.
I'm also testing. I normally don't put the good mornings in the messages on the screen, but I put it up there just to see if the timing for how long it stays up there has changed. And it should only be 20 seconds, but it seems to be staying up there a long time.
I have got the script ready.
Okay. Good to go. We shall move on and carry forward and jump in the script. But yeah, so I did run the script this morning, and I used the exact same chat, and it actually rewrote the script. Normally, it creates images when I ask it to create images, even though I haven't clicked the create image button. It knows when I say image to just go use that LLM instead, or that model. And this time it kind of hiccuped and said, I can't do that right now. You have to do a new chat. And I'm like, wait a minute, but you just did it. There's an image in this chat that you just did.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's weird. It's lots of hiccups this morning. But so here's another thing before we get started on the news. So one of the things we were talking about was, how can we do this a little bit differently, maybe, and just and try some new things. So I do have another version of the show that I thought if we wanted, instead of the fun Saturday Night Live style weekend update, hilarious script and have it write a TV script and all of that. I thought if we do it every morning and I just tell the gem to pick 10 of the top stories, write a little bit of a summary, and give us also some bullet points to discuss. And so I created a new gem that does that. And we can go look at that after we run through the news if we want to.
All right.
But I thought that was an interesting way. After our conversation, I just thought we just got to do something different. Maybe that's a little easier where we can just click that go live button. But then this morning when I woke up, I thought, but we don't have any images. I still have to make the image to get some sort of visual thing. So
Yeah.
I said, screw it. I'm going to go back to it. So I don't have any images for each segment, but we've got the YouTube thumbnail was actually finally generated after multiple attempts. So, with that being said, I'm going to go back old school and run our show intro. Oops.
It's time for today's headlines. It's time for headlines.
Well, phew. That's how crazy things are today. Good morning, corporate learners, skill gap closers, and people who still haven't finished that mandatory cybersecurity module from 2024. I'm Brent.
And I'm Mike. It is Wednesday, April 8th, 2026, and we've got a show packed tighter than a SCORM package with too many 4K videos.
Mike, I'm feeling optimized today. My AI assistant just pre-chewed my breakfast and summarized my dreams into 3 actionable bullet points.
I hope one of those points was buy more coffee. Let's get into the news. I do like that it's bullet pointed you.
I do too.
Today's breaking news.
Our top story, Absorb LMS just dropped bombshell report on AI governance in compliance. It turns out 2026 is officially the year AI stopped being a cool experiment and started being a legal liability. Federal and state regulators are now demanding that employees be trained not just on how to use AI, but on how to stop it from hallucinating on a company's legal downfall.
If my AI starts hallucinating, it better be dreaming of a 4-day work week.
L&D pros, listen up. If your compliance training doesn't include how to spot AI bias, you're essentially handing a loaded prompter to a toddler. It's important because regulators are looking for risk-based relevance. If your AI hallucinates in a regulatory requirement, your company is on the hook.
And for the non-L&D folks watching, this is basically like teaching your toaster not to start an uprising. If the AI gains sentience and tries to file for workers' comp, we need a module for that.
We need a module for everything.
It's time for
I don't know why it keeps going back to that other one. I had a lot of automation.
Moving to the winner's circle, Novo Ed just absolutely cleaned up at the EdTech Awards 2026. They took home the gold for corporate training solution, mentoring, and professional skills.
They were also finalists for their Novo AI thingamajigger. They were also finalists for their Novo AI authoring tools. It's clear the industry is moving toward high impact learning, which is L&D speak for training that actually does something.
Why does this matter? Well, because NovoEd is proving that scaling human to human mentoring through AI is the secret sauce. It's the end of click next to continue and the beginning of actually talk to a human who knows more than you.
Hallelujah. I'm skipping the human and culture music because it's just going to play another video. If you've been bragging about your high
Oh,
emotional
that's me then.
intelligence,
Look at that.
what?
If you've been bragging about your high emotional intelligence, I have bad news. It is 2026 and EQ is so 2022. The new buzzword is, wait for it, relational intelligence. What's your IRI?
Is that like knowing which coworkers to avoid in the break room, Mike?
It's pretty close. According to recent leadership trends, RI is about understanding how trust and influence flow through a system of humans, contractors, and, you guessed it, AI agents. We are moving toward micro leadership. God, I am so happy that they found that phrase, where culture is shaped in 30-second interactions rather than 3-day retreats.
L&D professionals need to pivot from teaching empathy to teaching cognitive flexibility. Basically, leaders need to be able to switch realities faster than a teenager switches TikTok filters. Shifting to the healthcare sector, I think I do have industry music.
And now a random industry with an L&D problem. Solving the L&D problem.
Let's try that again. Shifting to the healthcare sector, solving an L&D problem. The National Association of Community Health Centers has launched a massive 2026 initiative to prep for HRSA's operational site visits.
Ooh, operational site visit. Sounds more like a colonoscopy for an entire building.
Exactly. This is high stakes L&D, Mike. They're using a mix of virtual cohorts and e-learning to train revenue cycle leads and clinical executives on budgeting and long-term financial strategy. If you're in healthcare L&D, the message is clear. Continuous improvement isn't a goal, it's a survival mechanism for 2026.
And finally,
And now for the news in authoring tools.
threw me off because we went through. Ooh, we couldn't have audio, but now we can have audio, and
I
now
know,
I'm
sorry.
catching up. So we can't have the audio and video combined because it'll start to break some things. So we can still have the audio in the background, which is good. Finally, the tools we love to obsess over. Beyond has just released a massive update to their AI avatars. I know everybody was waiting for this one. You can now add custom voices, edit script directly in the timeline, and the big one, export scenes directly to PowerPoint.
Wow, wait, so I can turn my animated video into a PowerPoint slide with one click? We've come full circle, Mike. We invented video to escape PowerPoint, and now we're using AI to go back to it.
Yeah, just wait till they add the click next button into the interactive video. It's important because it drastically reduces rework time. Instead of rendering or re-rendering an entire video because an SME changed one word, you just edit the line and keep moving. This is a huge win for rapid development.
Ooh, we have to go back and talk about rapid development, but also
Yeah, we've got a couple
Adobe
of those, yeah.
Captivate Classic just bumped to version 11.8.4. No major fireworks there, just the usual. We fixed the things that were broken update. That's the brief for today. I'm off to train my AI agent to stop telling me I look tired in our morning meetings.
And I'm going to work on my relational intelligence, my RI, by nodding silently at my boss for 30 seconds. All right, let's go back into the news. Number one, what'd you think of the script today? And Wendy, looking for some feedback from you too. What'd you think?
Yeah, Wendy, how did the script roll?
So what was your view?
Um, well, I thought the script was okay today. It was definitely it definitely broke up the parts better. Like remember the last time I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, where we would have one of us doing a huge chunk of text, the other person just doing sort of a one liner, and then another
Yeah.
huge chunk of text. You know,
Yeah.
it seems to have broken that up a little bit. I don't know. I could be
Yeah.
wrong. I guess it's
It,
still
it
kind of doing.
felt kind of like, to me, and I may be off a little bit here, but this almost felt like the same script we did like maybe 4 or 5 weeks back or something
Oh,
like
as
that.
far
Like
as
there was something
topics
like,
go,
yeah, it's not, I know it's not because we didn't get into relational intelligence, but some of the jokes were in there. My favorite one of all of them is micro leadership.
we'll get to
Like
that.
I'm so excited. I'm I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it.
If only I had that musical clip right at the ready.
Oh, that's a song.
No.
Hmm.
Oh, it
I
did
do like the
almost.
back and forth. It felt more conversational. I
Yeah.
think. I think. I think there's a layer. I know we talked about this yesterday, and we're kind of playing around with it. And Wendy's feedback was it's fine, shorter that she thinks. We did go through it faster just because we're reading a little bit faster, and I think that back and forth makes it easier to move through the content a little bit quicker. One of the things we talked about is do we stop in between each story and just kind of break that down a bit and kind of work through it. There might be a benefit to doing some of that, or there might actually be a benefit to asking it to have two more or one more interaction on both sides in each story. Like instead of a three kind of thing where it's like I say something, you say something, I say something, we move on to the next. It's I say something, you say something, I say something, you say something, I say something, we move on to the next kind of thing.
Yeah. And I
In
think
the
what
story three, it does a little bit of that. It's kind of like there's four breaks, but I wonder what would happen if you said instead of doing 3 or 4 back and forths, you do 6 to 7 back and forths per story.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, the other
Correct.
part is hey Craig, um like how clear is this script explaining the story? I think that's something that we haven't really been able to surmise yet because we just don't have a lot of people in the comments yet. Like as we
Yeah.
read through these, it's fun for you and I, but I'm just focusing on trying to produce the show and read the script correctly, not screw it up, and just get through it as close as possible. Like right now, I couldn't even go back and tell you what's there. I only know what we read because I have access to the script. But those people that are listening, as we read through each one of the stories, did the story make sense? Was it informative? Did you get something out of it? Because I think that's going to be a critical piece for folks.
Yeah.
Is it memorable? Because remember, that's kind of what we want the brief to be. Is not only a way for people to learn with us about what the AI is doing and whatnot, but um, but what but just get a little bit of the day's news and whatnot. And here's the other piece too that we've talked about before is that there isn't a lot of news in L&D. So I think that's why it does it does feel like every morning it's a rehash.
There's more news than I thought there was.
Yeah, this is
Like
true.
it's able to find different things that are kind of interesting, and Yeah. So do you see Craig's comments in here? Craig's saying, for me, he'd rather have us read the headline than talk about it instead of reading. Craig, I just want to make sure I'm completely understand this. We read the headline, which is part of the script, but then we go off script and have a conversation. Just want to make sure I understand that. Yeah, I agree that they go by too fast. And the discussion piece is important. Even when we go back in and kind of review the headlines, I think having the conversation is a little bit more is a bit more fun, and we can kind of go through that. So that might be something to test tomorrow. We've got one more day to test this week, and that's what this is. This is one giant test. So we're out here, we're doing this. We started this back in. And it's amazing to think about it, but Wendy had highlighted it yesterday. She said 4 months ago. We started this back in October as Brent and I were getting ready. Like the first version of it was, hey, we're going to go ahead and do a thing where we go live and talk about what's it going to be like when we go to DevLearn. Let's go to an amazing learning technology conference where we got a bunch of instructional designers and learning developers and all these things together inside a room. And if you've not gone to a DevLearn conference, you really lived. So we went to DevLearn. We had some fun with some of the sponsors that were out there, shared how we were going to go through it. It was actually Sean's first a big expo like that. And then we moved a little bit later into the daily show, and then we started doing the daily thing. And we, at that point in time, it's a little bit earlier in the morning because of time change and that kind of stuff. And we tested through different platforms. And you're now seeing probably, if you like a .10 iteration of this. So like 0.10 or 0.11, we haven't even gotten into V1 yet because we're still in this early testing mode, trying to figure out, hey, what's working, what's not working, where are we stuck, how do we draw more people in? And if you want to be part of the conversation that goes beyond this, head to livewithbrentandmike.com, sign up there. We'll give you access to the Slack channel, and you can see the work that's actually happening in the margins, which is really the fun at events. It's the work and the conversations that happen in the margins, not going in there and listening to some keynote speaker tell you how you should do a bunch of stuff.
L&D must. Remember.
Huh?
We must.
Must and should.
Must and should all the time. Well, okay. So
it sucks when your initials are M&S too, because you're like must and should.
Oh man, no. Yeah, let's not go there. Let's actually talk about some of these stories. Before, I don't want to talk too much about just our production side of things. People can hang out with us and chat on that. AI governance, train or fail. I think the fact that it called out an LMS, a platform's post as part of the breaking news segment is interesting, I thought. And I'm wondering how it selected that. But we're stopping being a cool experiment and starting being a legal liability. Haven't we always been a legal liability, or are we solving for the legal liabilities? Potential. Federal and state regulations are demanding that employees be trained. Okay, so now they're saying that like it's a new thing.
If I was to summarize the word according to Brent, but the primary reason why L&D continues to exist is because of compliance.
Yeah.
If there were not compliance needs inside organizations, very few organizations would continue to invest in this function and this capability. Is that a fair summary?
It's a fair assumption, yes. I'm putting Dang it, I forgot it doesn't
Well, I
do
was
it
trying to
here.
go to my Brent Gospels, like the word
Yes, well, it
according to
is a
Brent.
fair summary. That's the part that that didn't really drill into my head as we were reading it. It's AI governance in compliance, and I wonder if a lot of this is just the AI when it writes the stories and it tries to summarize it. It's not being as clear as it thinks it is. Like it, which is good, which is a good reason why we go back and talk about these. So the bombshell
Yep.
report is on AI governance in compliance. So do they mean governing the AI now has a compliance element to it? Or does that mean that AI governance in your compliance work is what they're discussing? I don't know. I mean, it's officially the year AI stopped being a cool experiment and started being a legal liability. Okay, we already know that. So AI can be a legal liability for a company. Okay, so stop. Then the regulators are now demanding that employees be trained. Now we have talked about this story, but it was from the EU. Remember when the EU was mandating AI training for employees. So my guess is now federal and state regulators obviously are in the US are doing the same thing. And it's basically all of your employees, just like sexual harassment and cybersecurity are sort of mandated. You now have to go through some mandatory how to use AI training. And
Is this just another iteration of? And I mean, I'm pulling up the Novo Ed report now. Like, just put and again, I mean, on a positive note, this is a PR News Wire release from yesterday. So, from a timing standpoint, the tool is picking up current news, right? Like, this is the PR, this is the press release on the Novo. It's on PR
well, you're in
News
the
Wire.
wrong. Wait, which story are you on?
Didn't you just say the? Oh, I jumped ahead to the next one. I'm sorry. The Absorb. Sorry, miss on my end. Absorb. Okay, future planning for compliance training content trends. Yeah. So this one is the one where it seems like we go back and forth every couple of times between the what do they call it? What do we call it? The validation tax.
Yes, the old
The
validation.
validation tax. So we've got the validation tax, which is, hey, we're spending a lot of time going in and validating that everything's right, to this piece, which is, hey, just as a reminder, you got to go in and check it, because if you don't check it, you're going to be out of compliance and you could bring your company at risk. So now there's going to be these like areas where we fall, camps that people will fall into. Do we fall into the camp of, hey, compliance, it is important that you've got people going in and testing and tracking the work, but at the same time, remember, your people may not like that type of people work.
Our
And
people
now
may
they
not
start
be
to get burned out.
people.
Yeah. So, hey, we've got a couple more people watching the live stream. Just as a reminder, we continue the conversation here at livewithbrentandmike.com. Go there. You can join our Slack channel. Keep the conversation going out throughout the week. We do this every Monday through Thursday at 9 o'clock in the morning. I am Mike. That is Brent. And this is the news.
At least it was the news.
Well, yeah, now you've got the LinkedIn feed.
Dang
And
it.
now we're back to, and now you're watching Brent's desktop.
Well, now
so
what
yeah,
I
it's
want
kind
to
of
do.
it's interesting. It's going to be this like, so are we? Or do we need to force compliance, or do we need to worry about burnout, or do we need to do
Well,
both?
yeah. Well, apparently that's our human and culture segment, Mike. Are you jumping ahead?
Well, we didn't get. I don't think that was even the human culture today.
No, it didn't go into that today. Yeah, you're right.
I'm getting better at remembering the news, which is kind of crazy. Like it, because the first couple of times I couldn't remember. I could have said, you know, I'm a Patriots fan, which I would never say out loud other than I just did there as a joke and wouldn't even have known it. And now I feel like I've been able to overcome some of the cognitive challenges of reading a script. And did Craig ever come back and agree that he doesn't want us to script, or did he ignore that?
I think he said yes to the read the script and then talk about it freely, and then read the script again for the next story and then talk about it freely, instead of going through the whole entire script for all the segments and then going
Got it.
back like we're doing today.
All right. Back
And
to
yeah, just to kind of follow up on his comment that I just popped up there. He is right. If the compliance is around like all of AI, there's a lot there that they're demanding of companies as far as learning about their platforms. So I think what might be kind of cool is to go read exactly what those regulations say.
okay.
Maybe somebody that's
You do that
watching.
on your free time.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. Maybe somebody, maybe we can come back to it, or somebody, this will be great LinkedIn post fodder for somebody. Go and find out what those federal regulations actually say, what they are, because maybe our AI is hallucinating, and you can tie that into your story. So there you go. I just gave you your hot tip bullet point of the day for your LinkedIn posts for the week. Hit it up, people. That's why we're here. The EdTech Awards. Now we can get to the EdTech Awards. Novo Ed cleaned
So I thought
up.
this one was kind of cool. God, get your cookies out of my system.
Which
This
one's
is
kind of cool?
because this was a PR release. Now Novo Ed was driving the PR release, shocking.
Yeah.
On an award that they won. Hey, you've been up on stage giving out awards on these things.
Yep.
How often do people really, well, how's the winning part of these awards thing work?
Well, it depends. Depends on if it's the type of an award where you have some sort of voting system that people can, go to the people, so to speak, and have them vote, fully democratically, one vote, 1 point. And then you add up all the points and you see who got the most points. And then that means their thing wins. Or would you like to pay us $5,000 to submit your project, and we will make sure that you are fit into some sort of category where you're at least in the top 3? Or you put together a panel of judges and you tell the judges, here is your stack of things to review and to quote unquote score. The judges all get together and they decide who wins, and then they get whatever they get. So yeah.
My worst experience with this was back when I was like 17. My dad worked for a company that sold shock absorbers, and the shock absorbers are going to help with handling of the vehicle when the vehicle's driving on the road and whatnot. And we did a run where a bunch of customers came out to like Wild Rivers parking lot in Irvine and drove these, at that point in time would have been like I said 20. I was 17, so this would have been like 91, 92 ish. Drive these Corvettes around the track, and two of them had the shocks in them. One of them did not have the shocks in them, and everybody had 3 runs. And I actually thought the times were official times, but I had stumbled into the room where they were keeping track of all of the times, and they started moving people around based on which customers they wanted to recognize. And I was like, "It's a sham!" Oh, I was like, it was like it was like I saw behind the curtain, and there was a wizard kind of in the background moving all the levers and all that other kind of stuff. So that happened
Yeah. Here's another one.
when I was 17. So there you go.
Well, yeah. So you got to see how the sausage is made. So you know how when you go to an event and a booth, for example, will have a little fishbowl up there, and it'll say, "Drop your business card in." And for a chance to win an iPad, yay! Da, 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 da. So, um, do you think that they really just randomly reach in, pull out a card, and give away an iPad?
Not after I turned 17.
Now, to be fair, I have actually physically seen uh, companies do it like live on a stage or whatever, actually reach in, pull it out, and give it away. But there are those moments where all of the business cards are looked through, and it is needed the company that's been likely the one the sales team has been trying to go after will magically win the iPad so that there is a mandatory phone call that needs to occur. So
Do you ever see those stories where people will be like, they used to be really good comic strips, like way back when people had newspapers, they'd open up a newspaper, they go to the comic section, you see some things, or you see like a business comic or wherever. The one that would get drawn up is, there are people who are in the loop, there are people who are aware of the loop, and there are people who have no idea that the loop even exists. You're
Yes.
always one of those 3 people like that just, so if there's a game being played, are you playing the game? Are you aware that the game is being played, or are you not even aware that the game is out there? And as you start to look at it, then you can start to get over some of the guilt of not winning kind of thing, because the reality was you weren't even playing.
Yeah, you were never in the running.
Yeah. So, Craig, I think Craig just, hopefully we did not reveal Santa Claus to Craig, but there
Again.
you go.
Or the Easter Bunny. Let's move on to story number 4, industry specific, the healthcare compliance. Compliance is hitting the AI stories pretty hard. And I think I know why. I think compliance I have as a main topic for it to look for. So it probably keys on that word. The healthcare sector, the National Association of Community Health Centers launched a massive 2026 initiative to prep for HRSA's operational site visits. Sounds like a colonoscopy for an entire building. It was a pretty decent joke, I'd say.
That was a very good joke.
A mix of virtual cohorts and e-learning to train revenue cycle leads. So this is the part where it confused me, and I was even confused as I was reading it, because we went from operational site visits, which makes me think of like operations, like how's compliance around how the operation's running, to
Right.
revenue cycle leads, which typically the sales and operations are 2 totally separate things, especially when it comes to compliance.
Yeah, but if you go to the National Association of Community Health Center, and you go to their offerings, you can actually see how they click and organize. So like their taxonomy, their structure is, aligns with each of those areas. So it's leadership development, revenue, maximization and financial growth, board governance, health center growth, informatics and health and IT, whole person health, etc. So you kind of see where you see it seems like the tool, or seems like the scanning, the producer, this, when it scans through everything quickly, and we know how fast it happens given what we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
It's cherry picking some things because it can only make the story so so long, and not get into the kind of the minutia. But I think it's kind of interesting. I do like the fact that they had fun with the operational site visit and made a joke with that. They probably missed on areas of focus, on the side of things. I don't know. I Of all of them, the one that jumped out at me, and I know I'm kind of bouncing around here, the one that jumped out at me was the micro leadership.
Well, let's go back to that. Did I skip that? There we go. Yeah, I did skip
Yeah,
it.
but
Sorry.
it's not, and I don't know that we really have to go back to it more. It's more like, hey, we're coming. Well, actually, I guess we're taking it back. So we're coming up with different ways and shapes and forms to have people say, do the human things,
Yeah.
right? Like, culture is shaped in 30-second interactions rather than 3-day retreats. Man, I think that's going to be a tagline on somebody's website. We're good.
So I think
Microcultures.
I would say, I would say, normally I would laugh at this and go, micro leadership, that's crap. You can't, nobody, you can't be a leader in, you can't have a 30-second training or whatever. You can't have a micro learning on leadership, whatever. But I think what they're trying to highlight, and in a weird way make it relate to training in L&D and what we do, is basically it's effective leaders are constantly showing up, and it's the consistent little moments that a leader has with their employees and with the business that shapes the culture. That to me is the kicker. It's not, hey, I'm a horrible leader, but I've got this stack of 30-second leadership interactions that I learned at a training event, and this management leadership trainer told me I should do these things, and they only take 30 seconds, so it's great. It doesn't take too much time out of my day, and then I'm going to go execute on them, and then that's it. I think if there's any research back behind this or any sort of feedback that they used talking to folks, I think it's more about just good leadership shows up in small, consistent ways on a regular basis.
Agreed.
So good leadership is micro leadership. Good culture is shaped through those moments. And it's weird to call out the moments because we make it sound like it's that moment that's the thing, that's the most important thing. But it's the collection, it's the massive collection of 30-second moments. I think that's the real kicker that just doesn't get highlighted enough. So
it's the every once in a while I'll refer to stuff that this guy shares. His name's Dan John. He's been on the podcast before. He's a strength and conditioning coach in Utah, and he shares some of the stories from the people who helped him build him up to who he is today. And one of those is a guy by the name of Ralph Mahn. And Ralph Mahn's thing was little and often over the long haul. And one of Dan's things that he says when it comes to the nutrition side of things, actually, well, not really the nutrition, but more like the physical fitness side of things, it's not what you eat, it's what you ate. Like very simple things. It's you know the little and often over the long haul. Not what you eat, it's what you ate. Little things that can be reminders, little triggers, nudges for yourself as you work toward being the better leader in the way that you operate with your team or the way that you lead self. And I think one of them, when you get into one of the posts that was used to help inform this segment, there's a Venn diagram where it shows the modern leader inside the middle of a Venn diagram of employees, contractors or gig workers, and AI tools. So all of these are resources that we're leaning on to help the business ultimately accomplish the thing they want to accomplish. There are the people doing the people things, both inside your organization. There are people doing the people things from outside of your organization where you bring in expertise. And then there are the agents doing the agent things that they can do. And it's now when God, I'm going to use the freaking word, but and this is one of those, I know it's inconceivable that other people are using this word and maybe don't know what it means, but it's the orchestration of each of these pieces. Like, oh, I have to be able to orchestrate, conduct, and kind of move things around and see the entire picture rather than be in the weeds every day dealing with the day-to-day stuff that just keeps coming up. I've got to be able to detach and I've got to back up and observe so that we can make, and this is the John Boyd OODA loop, observe, orient, make some decisions and take action. And that is that modern leader up there. And some people want to do that kind of stuff. They want to orchestrate. They want to look at the whole. There are other people who just want to do their work. Like that's it. Like they just like Buddy the elfing their way through life, building up etch-a-sketches and trying to get to their quota. And that's good. Find the doers and let the doers do the doer things, and find the builders and let the builders do the building thing. And then as leaders, make sure that we get them in the right place to do those things, and then get everything out of the way, get the obstacles out of their way so that they can move forward, which for me, that's what leadership is. So I think it's kind of interesting. I think it's exciting. And I like that there's this perspective of, hey, from a resource standpoint, you've got multiple resources. You just have to choose which ones you want to deploy in a given point in time and make choice.
So let's hit the authoring tools before we run out of time.
Right.
I did think this one, the story in general was kind of funny, and I don't mean to pick on Vyond, but the joke seemed kind of spot on because it's what I was thinking as soon as we read it. You can now add custom voices, edit scripts directly in the timeline, and the big one, export scenes directly to PowerPoint. So there obviously was a use case for this somewhere along the line, or the product manager would never have said, this is something we need to build. So somebody somewhere said, you know what would be really great is all of these great videos that we're creating using your platform. We'd love to get those back into PowerPoint. And I'm not sure who wanted it, but maybe somebody out there that uses Vyond could explain it to us.
Did you click on the blog?
Maybe we just don't know.
Did you click on it?
No, I didn't. Have you gone through it? Anybody?
Well, I pulled it up. The source is a learning blog out of Japan.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool. Because the focus here is not only can you create it in Japanese, but you can also easily translate it into other languages. And me being the the funny American that I am, you always think about, hey, if we create it in English and then it gets translated out. So you start to see the different perspectives and different use cases in here. But it's kind of interesting. Like I think one of the other cool parts about doing this and kind of putting this into practice the is the source material that can be used to inform what goes into the news goes
Yeah.
far much further than any of our biases would have would have moved us into. I do think it's funny that our L&D morning brief says Novo Ed sweeps a word kind of thing, and I thought that was going to be an acronym for something, but it wasn't. It was just a
I told you,
typo.
like Gemini was totally like, I don't know if the model was overworked today or what, but I could not get it to do like it. There have been days where I could literally put the whole show together with multiple images, everything. I'd put in my prompt. The picture that it showed up with was spot on. Boom, everything spelled right, perfect colors, great, loved it. Download, put it in the thing. Good, next one. Boom. And everything would just click. And then there are days where it's like, what the hell were you thinking, Gemma?
Well, what I'm wondering is like, where did brain estrogen come from?
Oh, that's right. There was supposed to be a story on a memory story. Yes. Where in the heck is that story? Oh my gosh.
I'm looking. Oh, there it is. It's in the 10 stories not selected. Estrogen and PTSD memory.
Oh
So it
my.
didn't select it, but it threw in the image.
It's in the cutting room floor.
It is in the cutting room floor.
That would have been a great story, but no.
So we mismanaged expectations with the audience.
Sorry, everybody. Were there people that actually joined the stream today and went, I'm dying to hear them talk about brain estrogen? What the
That's why I'm
heck? I
here.
feel so let down. I'm never coming back. I hope that's not how you're feeling, folks. This is why we have a chat, so you can tell us when you think we've screwed up and you want to talk about something and we haven't talked about it yet. You got to jump in there and make your voices heard.
Make your voices heard. And if you want to continue the conversation, head out to livewithbrentmike.com. Join us on the Slack channel. We continue these conversations. We share some of the work that we're doing. You get to see some of the cool apps that Craig is building, some of the stories that Wendy shares, some of the stuff that, well, you get to see the script too, like all of this stuff, which includes links to the source material. Brent does not wake up at 3:00 in the morning and start typing out the script. He pushes a button, and our executive producer goes through and does it. Brent, it's 7:00. I have got to wrap up because I got to get to an oil change appointment. Nothing like it.
Yes, well, that's critical. We don't want your engine blowing up on you. So
do not
ask him when you get there. Ask the guy. How do you like your compliance training? Do you guys have to take mandatory compliance training? I do that every now and then just to see how people.
Here's the deal. I'm going to like the quick lube version, like the one where I'm hoping that
like the Jiffy Lube.
back. I'm not asking any questions that are potentially going to get in the way of my vehicle moving through the line as quickly as possible.
Come on. Try to have some fun with it, man. It's a learning opportunity.
I will drop a plug for livewithbrentmike.com.
There you go. Do that.
There we go. All right. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye, everybody.